Hey, what's going on, guys? DJ Hess here, collectivekicks.com. Wanted to bring you guys a video and have a little discussion for you guys, as well as some information, hopefully, for you regarding PayPal scams and how to avoid them, also how to better protect yourself. And this video will be focusing on things from the buyer's perspective. However, I will have a follow-up video from the seller's perspective as well, since I have a little bit of recent experience with this. I'm not the expert, however, on this subject, so if you guys know more information than what I am suggesting in this video, weigh in the comment section and let others know, and thumbs up those comments as you guys see it. While you guys are thumbsing up things, though, thumbs up the video if you guys like the video. This was requested from you guys, and it was one that I thought would be a great video to cover, especially for people newer to buying or selling on the aftermarket for sneakers. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right, so as a buyer, if you are trying to buy a pair of sneakers and you need to use PayPal, there is a couple things to look out for. So let's say you're trying to buy a pair of the Pirate Black 350s here, and you're trying to buy these for $700 or whatever like that. I know it's a lot of money, but if people want to pay that much for the shoe and they really, really needed that shoe, then there's a couple options to try to buy those. Obviously, you could go to Flight Club, which is the most expensive that you could pay for the shoe. You can buy them from open stores, reseller stores. Index PDX is an example of one that I would trust. You could go through other places. You could go through Facebook groups and try to find a legitimate seller. But let's say you found a legitimate seller that you think is there, and you're trying to buy a pair of these. There's a couple different ways to do this through PayPal. Obviously, if you meet up in person through a store, consignment shops, or whatever, you can pay cash or card in consignment shops, and then things are good to go. But if you have to use PayPal, there's a couple of things that get a little bit interesting. For one, if you do not know the seller of the shoes, never ever gift money through PayPal. Unless you know the person and unless you trust the person, make sure that you are going through an invoice if it's a direct purchase through PayPal. If you go through and only gift the person the money, let's say you gift them $750 for this shoe through an Instagram post, somebody tag you in and you don't know the person, and you gift them $700 for the shoes, and then they say, yeah, here's a shipping confirmation, they ship them out, and then you open your box and it's a bag of rocks. There's nothing you can do about that, because if you can try to open a complaint against PayPal, but PayPal will not take it seriously because it was gifted, versus if the money was sent to you as an invoice, or unless you sent them money as an invoice. So that's the other way to do things, and that's definitely the preferred way to do it. A lot of places will say $700 for these, or $700 plus 4% for invoice. Definitely go the extra 4%. Definitely get the invoice, unless, again, you trust them. It's very, very rare that you should give people money. But if you do go that route, you can go ahead and invoice for these, and then they'll send you an invoice. So what happens in the same scenario? Let's say you send them $700 through an invoice that they sent you for these shoes right here. Then they ship the item out to you, and they still send you a bag of rocks. So at that point, what you can do is you can open up a buyer case against the seller as item not as described, and then PayPal will actually go in immediately to that seller and then freeze their funds. So that $700 that you pay them, PayPal automatically pulls that out in a pending state from their account, and then they investigate this scenario. So they'll check the seller and make sure that they ship the shoe, that there's a shipping confirmation. But then it gets a little hairy, because it's your word against theirs. So if you say, yeah, they shipped me something, it was a bag of rocks, and then PayPal has to really investigate this, and it's a he said, she said sort of situation, which can get really, really hairy. It can take a lot of time to get clear. But I'm sure that they look through the seller's track history to make sure that they don't do this on a regular basis or have a bunch of claims against them that are similar. From the buyer's perspective, I'm sure they do the same thing and check you out as a buyer to make sure that you're not full of crap too often and kind of claiming these sorts of things. And then they will basically, like, there's a couple different scenarios that PayPal can do. One, they can say, hey, if they didn't send you what they were supposed to, ship it back to them. And then you can send the item back, and then PayPal will, at that point, refund your money. Unfortunately, if it's a bag of rocks or something, it's a little bit different or difficult, I guess. If, let's say, you bought this pair and it was actually a replica pair, then you can ship the shoes back to them, and then the seller will have to automatically refund the money. And I'm pretty sure that you'll have to show PayPal that it was shipped back, and they'll have the shipping information to know that the seller actually got the money. At that point, you'll finally get your money back. So it freezes your funds for quite a while. It doesn't happen instantaneous, and it's not too easy of a scenario. It's why usually cash is king if you can meet up in person, or sometimes it's worth extra just paying through a consignment shop to make the purchase for something, because you might have to pay $100 more than whatever the open market is, but unless you trust the people that you're buying from, you can really get screwed in the end. By getting a replica pair, I've seen a lot of people be burned on getting rep pairs, but also you might just not get what you thought you were going to get if you sent them a PayPal gift. So highly recommend do not doing that. The last thing is there is some kind of risk on the seller's side as well, because if you buy this shoe and it was authentic, shipped to you, and you paid $700, then you opened up a case against the seller and said, hey, they sent me a fake pair, and then you ship them back a pair of replica pair, then, I mean, it gets in this whole like crazy world of stuff where you really like go back and forth between the buyer and the seller. Then the seller can open up a countersuit against you saying that you shipped back what wasn't shipped to them, and PayPal has to do a lot of investigating in the process. So at the end of the day, it's like sweet, like you want to be able to get a deal on a pair of sneakers, you want to be able to get what you are paying for, but there's a lot of risk involved when you're paying on the open market, and I'm sure a lot of you guys have been burnt in the past as well. Again, don't do the gift thing. Like even if a subscriber, and I fell for this a while ago, if a subscriber basically reaches out to me and says, hey, I got these shoes, I'll ship them to you, just gift me the money, I do not do that, because I do not trust the subscribers out there, or the people, just because you never know who that is, if it's somebody that's trying to lead you into this situation to make that happen. So hopefully this video has been a little bit informative for you guys. I'm going to definitely cover things from the seller perspective next, and hopefully you guys will find that informative as well. So again, if you guys like the video, give it a thumbs up. If I missed something very critical, definitely weigh in the comment section, as I already mentioned, and we'll catch you guys for some more videos soon. Peace, guys.